Hey YouTube, this is Kelvin, and I got another one for you from the 2020 Tata Steel or Weekend Z chess tournament, and it's of the two youngsters, and it's Alireza Firouzja representing Iran as white, and Jeffery Xiong representing the United States. Actually, in the same area of Texas as I personally am in, and he actually coaches at the chess club in Carrollton here, where I was actually working on coaching myself. So pretty cool, like little hometown, situation. But like I said, this is two youngsters, and so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the game if you guys are ready. So let's go ahead and roll. All right, so we got an e4, e5. All right, knight f3. Very typical development. Protecting that e5 pawn, bishop b5. So we have the Ruy Lopez. Knight f6 is the Berlin defense. Now, as some of you guys might know, the Berlin was played pretty heavily by Vladimir Kramnik in his 2000 World Championship match against Garry Kasparov, which actually was a heavy contributor to him winning the World Championship back in 2000. So, it definitely, as you can imagine, got very popular after that. Everybody in the world wanted to play it. Thinking it was like a golden opening. But all right, so we got rook to e1. Yep, it's always a good idea to put that rook on the opposite, just opposite the queen or the king. And all right, move the king over. King B1, King H1. Those are definitely moves you want to consider. Getting your king into a safer area there. All right, so taking back with the C. Oh, okay. Well, throwing a little in between move in there. Another little in between move. So as you guys will know, with this high level play, even like intermediate and higher level play, they're definite masters at finding those we call them Zuch and Zug, but just finding those little in between moves, kind of little moves you can throw in there, basically in between like a general take back. And so it's kind of like a move that kind of goes in between of something you would consider like a general take back type situation. So generally you would expect that somebody would just do an automatic take back in a situation, but you kind of toss something in there to you know either to maybe pin a piece, or just you saw that earlier when the d pawn was pushed, it attacked the queen, so it kind of put a question to the queen's position there. All right, so we have two knights against a knight and a bishop. So we're trying to see which minor piece battle can be won here. All right, snap of the pawn off. So we got 3, 4, 5. We got so everything's even so far here, except for of course the minor pieces. But one thing you should note is the pass pawn that white has. So that's definitely giving white a little bit of an edge here, as opposed to black. Now black has their own pawn on a7 that's passed, but it hasn't been advanced yet. So a lot of the concentration of the pieces and stuff are on this file here, and working to try to you see it's pushed again. So there's not really a way that the black rooks, this black rook here, you see it's traded off, but that black rook could contest the pass pawn here. So you got 3, 4, 5. So that all right, so let's throw a little check in there. So from the looks of things, the white position has greatly improved. And yep, 3, 4. So we have we're a pawn up here in this position, and so if you guys notice, the knight, the white knight is going to be playing on these dark squares here, because you know there's a light squared bishop, and so as long as the knight continues to stay on the dark squares, the bishop can't really do anything about it. So we'll throw that check in here. Just proving the king's position a little bit. All right, getting that work on an open file here. Trying to attack that little pawn here. Probably go knight c4 or that. That's fine too. All right, creating more pass pawns. So we have 3 pawns against 1 here. So got to back that king up a little bit. So as you notice, the white's king position was on f1, so it was preventing a rook to g2. Trying to protect that pawn from promoting. And so now the king is that black king's in a pretty vulnerable spot here. Yep, and then there's just no stopping that pawn. So let's see here. Yep. So that is the game. Let me see here. Let me back up just a little bit. So if you guys notice in this position here, this is a position that you want to remember. So this kind of shows you, like, when you go into certain end games. I'll draw a little thing here. When you get into certain end games, that's why a lot of times people will say that studying end games is so important, because it gives you a chance to see like how the rook and the knight work together, or possibly how like a bishop or a rook and stuff work together, to create kind of an impassable area. So if you notice, this rook is defending this whole entire rank, right? And so this knight is protecting these squares. So this is a way to push the king back. And so you notice the king has to go back in this position. And so we just fast forward just a touch more. This is also another position. There are a lot of positions when you get into an endgame where a knight and a rook can work together to either checkmate the opponent king, especially when you have this pawn here, or just simply try to push him back, because when you get into end games, you're always wanting to try to put the opponent in as worse a position as you can. And so when you can force this king, as you guys know from like different types of end games, checkmate patterns and stuff, like king and queen versus king, or king and rook versus king, it's always beneficial to try to push this king in the corner of the board, or on the edge. And then it just it decreases the effectiveness and the help that the king can be to the to its own pieces and stuff like that. And so comparing it to this king down here, this king has a lot more movability. Yeah, he's restricted to these first 2 ranks, but he has a lot more movability than the black king does. The black king is with the exception of maybe a square, is almost checkmated. So all right, guys, but that is the round 7 of the Tata Steel or Weekend Z, with Alireza Firouzja of Iran defeating Jeffery Xiong of the United States. All right, thanks, guys.